back again on another episode of Dropping Gems 252. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is having a blessed day. You know, today's a new day. We're coming back with you guys with another episode
Yeah, and we want to talk about something very important.
and
And
bring awareness to.
yeah, like gun violence and clout chasing, and
Yeah.
how they go hand in hand.
hmm Gun violence is a series of crime that a lot of us are becoming victims of in this world, and it's becoming too common for someone that is, you know, happening to just go on about their business and supposedly being able to go to a safe place where everybody should feel safe isn't feeling safe anymore. It seems like the young folks are getting more access to weapons and they're not using or handling them with caution and care. A lot of us are falling victim to family members and friends that have, like I said, fallen victim to those type of crimes, and we want to bring awareness to these things because
And this type of stuff happens everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Especially in small towns, big cities. It doesn't matter. It happens everywhere, and it happens so often that you kind of grow numb to it until it hits home. And when it hits home, it hits different. And it makes it real for you, like that everybody is subject to be involved in some type of violent crime when they're just minding their business, when they're just living their life.
when there should be in a place where we're all here to have fun, we're all here to enjoy ourselves, and we should feel safe or protected to be able to go out and do these things. And nowadays, it's like you have to, you know, second guess your trips and see and staying aware of your surroundings and observing things. And even when you do so, you just could be a victim of just someone trying to outdo or being in the midst of a crossfire of something that had nothing to do with you. And it's really sad, and I feel like we need to be bringing more attention to these things because it hits closer to home than you think. And
Facts.
it affects our youth and our future generation. It's like, how are we going to raise these kings and queens if we're steady allowing them to, well, not necessarily allowing, but we're steady being caught in situations where we should be able to put our child in a place, or we should be able to allow our kids to go and have fun and express themselves without no harm coming to them.
Most definitely.
But this also brings awareness to the parents and just, the caretakers of our world to start, educating our children and our future generation on how to protect themselves and how to stay alert and aware of their surroundings.
And stay vigilant.
Yes. And always use your discernment and trust your intuition. Now, I know we're all young. When we're young, it's hard to listen to ourselves because we want to just go with the flow. We want to live in the moment. And yes, that's something we need to, experience. But at the same time, you know, everyone has a different upbringing. And someone's upbringing could be the downfall of yours. And if you don't surround yourself with people who are positive, who are moving in the right direction, who have the the goals, who has the urgency to want to be more in life.
You either become a victim or a victimizer.
Yes.
And just to just to give you a better glimpse of what we're trying to say here. I'm from a small town called Kinston, and a very small town. It's only 20,000 people, and I just looked up statistics on the crime rate here in Kinston, North Carolina. Chances of becoming a victim of property crime, 1 in every 31 people. And for the whole state of North Carolina is one in every 48 people.
Ooh, that is too close to home. That is too close to you. That is a social event. That is a community event. That's just a gathering in itself. That's a wedding. That's a gender reveal. That's anything like being in a place where you're supposed to be feeling safe and protected, where you get caught up in someone else being there at the same time. And it's really coming to a point where the way we are protecting ourselves is more physical than spiritually,
Right.
protecting. Like mentally, if you're not mentally protecting yourself, then your physical appearance, your physical outerwear will be affected.
Your
It's
outward
like,
appearance.
yeah, your outward appearance will be affected the most because it starts inside first.
Right.
And
And that comes with teaching your children, instilling confidence into your children, and teaching them to deal with their emotions so they have some sort of emotional intelligence so they don't just grab guns and lash out. And that's where the clout chasing comes in, because as a society we glorify the gangster, we glorify the wrongdoer.
mm-hmm,
So a lot of these kids coming from these impoverished areas have it in their mind that in order to make it out they have to do something drastic.
yeah,
And that's where chasing the clout comes in. They have to do something drastic to make a name for themselves so people will know him. Oh, he's real. He'll do that what he says he'll do.
right. And why are we living in fear and not love? Like fear is being instilled in us more than love is nowadays, and this clout chasing is becoming more dangerous with these likes and these status quos that everybody are trying to uphold within themselves and trying to riz and flex and manipulate just to get to the top. And how many people you can, how many bodies you have, how many friends, how many girls, how many guys, how many, it's always a number to how many or what status of what you're trying to receive. And at the end of the day, where does it get you within yourself? Like you're seeking outside validation constantly, and by you seeking that type of validation, it's going to constantly put you in a position where you're being tested with your integrity, with your you know, having
Your
your
morals.
morals tested. And if you can set a camera up and just go crazy and put that out on the into the world for everyone to see, and it's never going to disappear, one day you might go back and look at that video and you might be in a whole different mindset, and that video could have affected your whole life from that point on, just because you won't really, you were seeking a clout, you were seeking a validation from others who aren't paying your bills, who aren't helping you do anything, who aren't helping you with your with your life in general. Like these people are just watching for their own entertainment.
Right.
And the root word is enter, and the detainment, the thing is to enter your body and detain your mind. And all this clout chasing is putting you in positions where you might die from something by trying to chase a clout,
Or go to jail.
or
You're
go
gonna
to
die or
jail,
go to jail from chasing clout. Or
or
you're
just
gonna be the cause of someone who has nothing to do with anything getting wrapped up or involved in your mess.
that's a fact. And it's scary because a lot of people are recording everything that they're doing nowadays. They're recording their personal lives. things that are supposed to be intimate with yourself. It's becoming the norm for people to just put all their information out there, and then they they got story times or your life where now you're no longer, you no longer have that intimate moment where you can keep things to yourself now, and it's like everyone's just trying to put everything out there, even when someone dies, even when someone has a tragic death or anything that's happening that should be, well, kind of, I don't know how to put it, something
And
that you,
things that should be sacred and valued are no
yeah,
longer being valued. Like
that part,
one's life is no longer valued,
that part
and the
there,
value of someone else's life.
that's a fact.
And just to make it even realer, the population here in Kinston is 20,000 people, roughly. And one in every 141 people will be a victim of a violent crime. Like, that's crazy.
That's that's
That's
that.
roughly 7 people out of every 1,000
Let me tell you,
has a chance of being a victim of a violent crime in a population of only 20,000.
you can't even go to a concert. You can't even go to a beach. You can't even go to a small area without thinking twice about how you're going to move when you get there. Making sure that everything is on your P's and Q's. And even then, you still get caught up in the mess of someone else's movement. And it's still important to, trust yourself. Feel the energy. Feel the vibes. Know where you're at. Pay attention to your surroundings. Make sure you're around the right people when you go. Because it's really important for you to learn to trust yourself. Because if you learn to trust yourself, you'll wind up avoiding a lot more than you could have been in if you learn to not follow the crowd and seek out clout. Instead, listen to what your mind and your soul is telling you to do, because you could be saving yourself and others' lives as well. Protecting yourself and others as well, because I've been in a lot of growing up. Been I've been shown a lot of grace in my life, because I, even when I didn't know, I knew. Like, I've always learned to trust myself from my feelings, you know, what my energy is giving off. Like, I have been in parties and situations where the moment I left, 5 minutes, 30 minutes later, something bad happens. I always manage to miss danger by the grace of God. That's why I say I'm glad that I have the grace over me. That's why it's important for you to have a close relationship with the Most High.
Legitimate. Now, I've been in situations where my instinct, my intuition, whatever you want to call it, my sixth sense, everything was telling me that things was finna go left, and I ignored it, and things went left, like horribly left. And by the grace of God, I made it up out of there. But at the same time, if I'd have followed and trusted that first instinct and went ahead and got up out of there, got me and my people up out of there, nothing would have happened. We wouldn't have been involved in any of that.
Yeah.
So trust those feelings, trust yourself, trust your intuition. It's just,
And know those emotions come and they pass. So when you're in places, when you're in an open place and you're in an event, or you're just in a crowd of others, know that your emotions can change based, like he said, not listen, when you listen to your intuition, you wouldn't be in the situation you'd be in, but you'll also learn when you don't listen at the same time. So you'll learn to know, oh, so that's what that feeling was.
Yeah, and I've learned a few lessons that way, the hard way, when I could have kept it real easy, real simple, and got up out of there by trusting myself, trusting God, trusting,
Just trusting
trusting
me.
in,
Trusting in me, that God placed in me, that intuition,
right.
that knowledge, that nudge, that inkling, that gut feeling, and a lot of things are, based on your gut. Your gut tells you more than you know, I'm hungry. It tells you that, hey, this feeling isn't right. Hey, this person is not. Yeah, that feeling you have about that person is you're right about that. Like your gut is more than just your stomach, and
It's your core.
it's your core, it's your solar and sacral plexus where you are creative and you gain your your most creativity, and your power comes from your gut. So it's like the clout chasing, the gun violence, all that is a result of not having that connection with the Most
Yeah, and and another thing, people don't talk about enough is the mental health in these environments,
High.
in
Mm-hmm.
these neighborhoods. That's a real major thing. Because a lot of people don't get help.
Yes.
They have no one to turn to and talk to.
It's not normalized. It's
Yeah,
down. It's talked down on when you get if you need therapy, and it's really sad because a lot of us aren't like a lot of us are born in families who have passed down trauma from their mom, and the
yeah,
way they were.
traumas and regrets that's just passed down.
No one is releasing. They're just holding on and giving it to the next one to deal with.
Right.
Dying with the problems and being reborn with the ones that you died with. It's like, it's really seek to, be to yourself sometimes. Learn to trust and have morals and values and stick to what you know that is best for you, because if you don't have your own way of thinking, if you don't use your own mind, like I said, you'll be stuck in the other timeline of others doing things that they want for you, when if you would have just been in your own lane and you would have trusted yourself, you would have been in a safer situation, because you know you and you trust what needs to be done, what's best for you. But if you allow the influence of others to take you out of your comfort zone, take you in a place where you don't feel like you should be, you will or could possibly end up in a situation where you should have been in the first place.
Right.
So that clout chasing and trying to be validated by others is something that is a deep inner wound within yourself that you need to work on, because no one should be able to determine how you should feel and how you should make how they how they should be able to make you feel more than you already feel about yourself.
Right.
Like it should be an added on bonus of their way of thinking of you. Like you should already feel the compliments they're already feeling about you without the compliments. But it also helps to know that, especially when you surround yourself with the right people.
Your self-worth shouldn't be determined by how others see or value
Yeah.
you. You should, see and value yourself.
Yeah.
That what should determine your self-worth.
And I seen a picture not too long ago. I know it was probably earlier this year or last year. It was a picture of like a bunch of like sins, like cartoonish figures, and it was a particular part in the picture where it was the judges from um, America's Got Talent and stuff, and it was just funny because it was Simon and it was like a woman and it was like a devil, and it was just funny because we are seeking validation from another person to determine our success and how good we are. Like we're allowing a judge, we're giving the permission to allow them to judge us based off our talents. And if you gonna allow Simon or anybody on the judge panel to tell you that just because they say you're good, they say you're bad, you feel bad because they say you're bad, when you put in the work to be good as you are, like you shouldn't they shouldn't determine how good you feel. They should determine how you should move to the next level in your
or
life.
or how highly you think of yourself.
Exactly. And it's like it's a good way to go and put yourself out there so others can see your talent, but don't allow the comments and say naysayers of how they may observe your talent to their own liking to.
And granted, these things are learned. You have to certain situations, go through certain things in life that teach you these things. Like, experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
And we've all been in a space where we were once seeking outside validation.
Yes. Especially as if you have that inner child wound, those childhood traumas, and not being able to get the recognition you needed when you were asking for it, it can grow into something, that could be detrimental to yourself.
Right. And that's why I honestly believe, you have to heal the home to heal the world. And it all starts at home.
Yeah.
Because these things have to be taught and instilled in our children so they can grow up to be, the better versions.
We need to be able to have a time to sit with our kids.
So there aren't random acts of violence and,
yep,
things of that nature.
Checking in on your kids.
Knowing what your child is thinking, what they're going through.
How they're feeling.
How they're expressing themselves.
Yes, because you don't want to wake up the next day that you find your child committing or, unaliving themselves because of society told them they weren't good enough, when they should never have allowed them to even determine their worth in the first place. And it's hard to, to be that parent that did get that themselves, and to break those generational curses so that you can heal for your child, so that your child could be a better parent for their next generation, or they could be a better parent to themselves. It's like, if you could be there and you're finally learning how to be there when the time comes, time is linear, so it happens when it happens. So when the time comes, it's like, the time, it matters. It just matters when you.
Life be life.
Yeah, life be life for real. But yeah, so.
With that said, heal the home, heal the world.
Make it a better place for you and for me, and the entire
human race or something. I
forget. Yeah, but so. And before we ended up, I know the scripture says, the Lord is my shepherd. So, I'm being led by the Most High, and I don't want to be led by the world. I don't want to be seeking validation from no one other than the Most High, because He gives me validation every day by the miracles He sets in my path, the way He moves and the way He guides me, and just allow me to feel and know that I'm not perfect, but yet I'm still perfect in His eyes. So I would encourage those to, don't seek no validation from no one but the Most High. Do what makes you happy. Don't do what others say you should do or how you should feel. Whether it's your friend, foe, family member, or whatever, do what's best for you. Trust that gut feelings. Don't be in the wrong place where things are always happen, but trust yourself. Don't be where everybody else is going to be. Be where you should be. Be where you want to be, not where everybody wants you to be. Once again. So, and with that being said,
these things like gun violence, we don't pay attention to them as much as we should until it hits home. And I'm definitely guilty of that myself. I've been numb to a lot of things that go on in society and in my own neighborhood and in the place I was born and raised, because, it was just normal. It wasn't hitting home. So with that being said, talk to your children.
Love on them.
Get love on them. Get them whatever help they need. Give them the safe spaces that they need to be vulnerable with you and tell you what's going on with them. And if it's something you can't handle yourself, get the professional help that they need. There's nothing wrong with it.
And if you need to do it, so do it for yourself.
Yeah, and it helps you and your child become better members.
Yes.
Better versions of yourselves, because you're healing.
Because I know me, I learned from my son by how he moves, and I learned, and I go, well, maybe it was something that I did as a child as well, that nobody tried to help and get me help to see. So I'm trying my best to, or I am doing my best to get the help that he needs, so that he can be, he don't have to seek validation or seek that love or that help outside of him because he's getting it at home.
When I said she gonna keep it spiritual, I'm gonna keep it lyrical. Be cool how you be cool, be you and be true.
We'll catch you guys on another episode of Dropping Gems 252.
And remember, heal the home, heal the heart, heal the world.